president of the Indiana County Chamber of Commerce, joins us on the third Monday of each month to talk about items of interest. And boy, do we have items of interest today. This is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Mark, good morning.
Morning.
It's good to have you with us here today. So we've got this series of events, actually, that are coming up. It'll be on Fridays for the next month or so. Introduce this whole concept to us. What's going to be happening?
So we're calling it the Road to Recovery webinar series, and it's beginning a week from this Friday on March the 26th. There'll be Fridays at 10 a.m. each week. It'll be online on Zoom, which will send out a link. It'll be on Facebook, and you can also hear it here on 1160 or 101.1 FM, depending on which band you're listening on. But the idea behind it is that each week we're going to focus on a different topic related to COVID-19 relief efforts. Mm-hmm. So the first week is going to be related to Indiana County vaccinations and the process, and that's a process that is changing seemingly on a daily basis in terms of new information coming out. So we wanted to make sure we got that out there quickly, and we have Dr. Richard Neff, who's the Chief Medical Officer over at IRMC, Tom Stutzman, who's the Director of Indiana County's Emergency Management Agency, and John Pastorak, who is the owner of Mainline Pharmacy. So we kind of have it covered from every angle you could think of, and we want questions from the public. And this kind of started because some of our board meetings for this year, we've been trying to have more focused discussions on various topics at our board meetings rather than just industry updates. And as we started hearing a discussion about healthcare from Dr. Neff, we all began to think, well, boy, this is great information and information none of us had known because he was very forthcoming with everything. We said this would be great to be able to get out to the public because we know there are a lot of questions. So we met with our CEO partners and decided to put this webinar series out, and we're going to cover topics like healthcare, education, and education meaning anything from elementary school to college. We'll talk about business financial assistance, government assistance, and more. So every week it'll be a different topic, but this is mainly for the public. I know we're the Chamber of Commerce, but we're doing this through the CEO and trying to have this be a series of webinars for the public. So the important thing is if you have any questions, specifically this coming up on vaccinations a week from Friday, any question you can think of, send them to questions at Indiana County Chamber, and we'll make questions out. The webinar will be only about an hour long, and it's designed just to be a simple question and answer webinar. So any questions that you submit, we're going to go through them as long as they are relevant to the topic at hand. We'll make sure we get those out to the panelists and get them asked.
Well, the important thing in this little bit of a conversation here this morning is that just as you gave the address for people to submit their questions, your phone dropped. So give that the most important part, and it dropped down. So give that again if you would.
It's questions at IndianaCountyChamber.com. So questions plural at IndianaCountyChamber.com. So we If you have any question at all, as I said, as long as it's relevant to that topic, we'll make sure that we ask it. And if you have a question about another topic, please send them to us because we're thinking about potentially continuing this down the road if we do get a lot of interest in it. We have a lot of questions that are going around right now about various COVID relief efforts and COVID topics. So we're hoping as we're kind of moving on the other side of this whole pandemic that we can help get the right information out to the public and answer some questions.
Absolutely. So we're going to focus on the vaccine first, and then if people have questions about other topics, well, they can submit them anytime. Just put them in the hopper and wait until it is time for that particular topic to be covered in this series. So
correct. You'll see on our website and on our Facebook page, and I believe on your website and Facebook page, we'll have a schedule. So you'll be able to see the topics coming for the next few weeks. So you can submit questions related to those topics. We just won't have the names of the panelists released until a little bit closer to that date. So we want people to focus on the one that's coming up. But if you do have interest in the other topics, please still submit those questions to us as well, because if we get a number of questions in a particular area, we could either add a topic or add a panelist. We can change it. It can be kind of a flexible situation.
Absolutely. Okay. So over the weekend, we started to hear this term, and we want to get clarification on it as well. CHIRP. What is CHIRP? What does it do for the businesses of Indiana County?
So the application period is actually open right now, and it's for any business in the hospitality industry. So, restaurants, hotels, those types of businesses. It's a grant program where grants are available anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000. If you were impacted at all by COVID-19 last year, and we're talking about the hospitality industry, so I think that includes everybody in that industry. So we would encourage you to fill out an application and submit it. It's going to go to the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission. They'll review the applications and determine the amount of money. We don't have a firm amount per business. It's going to depend a lot on how many businesses do apply. But like I said, the minimum amount is $5,000 per business. The maximum is $50,000. And if you are a business in the hospitality industry, contact our office, contact the Indiana County Office of Planning and Development. If you're part of the chamber or part of the CEO, you've probably already seen emails from in terms of the applications. But that application window is open beginning today. And I would encourage you, if you're hearing this right now and you haven't submitted it, get to that right away because, it's first come, first serve, and once that money's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me about it is just as with Lisa Spencer and the rent and utility assistance that is available, if we don't take advantage of the funding that is out there, then we really have no one to blame but ourselves. So there is funding that available right now that can help people in the form of these grants, and so people do need to step up.
And we had a lot of interest. We've been putting out there, as with the CEO, we've been putting out an email address for people to send their business info to prior to the application period. So if they were interested in just getting info about this the CHIRP program, then they could send their email address to us, and we've received a number of email addresses, a ton of them. So people are interested, and I think that they are trying to take advantage of it. Now, some don't particularly qualify as a hospitality industry business, but we still encourage you to look into it. You never know where you're going to fall on those guidelines. Look into it. Call us if you have any questions. Call the Center for Economic Operations or the County Office of Planning and Development. We'll get you through the application process.
Yeah, the worst that can happen is somebody says no. So no problem.
Exactly. You have to at least try because you never know where you're going to fall in that. But most businesses, if you're in the hospitality industry, you're in the hospitality industry, and like I said, there's a lot of money out there. I do expect us to be able to use all of it based on the interest we've received already. So it's a great program, and we're looking forward to getting it out there and trying to help some of these people. You
mentioned them a couple of moments ago, the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission. They're going to be hosting an event for small businesses tomorrow, aren't they?
Yes, we sent that out over the weekend as well, and probably be sending it out here today in our email. But it is, they've been doing a series of webinars, but it's in terms of just how they can navigate through some of these recovery efforts. So the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission is going to be hosting a webinar. We've been sending that link out there. I believe it is tomorrow morning, but contact us if you have not received a link and you're interested in that. They have put on some really informative webinars. Those, and as well as the SBA and some other folks, over at IUP as well. So there have been a lot of places that have been trying to get good information out to businesses who might need some assistance and not really sure where to turn. But I would encourage you, take the time to register for it. It may not be full of information for you, but if you can take one or two nuggets out of that webinar, and I think every webinar I've sat on, I've taken something away from it. So I'm sure businesses will be able to take something from it, and that's important right now. You never know what kind of information could help get your business turned around or help get you on the right track and start getting back to kind of normal operating procedures.
Yeah, it's actually 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And,
okay.
You can register for that webinar. It's for small business owners from across southwestern Pennsylvania on their current needs and expected future needs. So they want to know from you what it is that you're needing out there.
They're planning on being a very interactive webinar too. So it'd be something that if you're going to attend it, I would encourage you to have your questions ready because they do plan on having it being very interactive with the small businesses throughout Western Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In general, because we don't generally get to talk about the things we used to talk about all the time, what are you hearing from the Indiana County business community? Are things looking up? Are people stabilized, or are they still struggling a lot?
It's definitely looking up. We're things are moving in the right direction. We're starting to see more activity in terms of business inquiries, people that might be looking to move a business here or start a business here. So that activity has definitely started to increase. We've been getting a lot more phone calls just about events and, looking to potentially host events. So we start to see some of these things happening. It's starting to tell us that we are heading on the path and back to normal. We've already talked about looking at some of our events in the summer and beyond and which ones we're going to be scheduling and how we're going to be doing those. So we're not quite there yet, but we're taking strides to get back to kind of normal. I think that by come May and June, I think we're going to start to see things really getting back on track. I think that right now business is doing okay. We can certainly, have things improve. We're not quite to where we were last year prior to the pandemic, but I think that we're on our way there. And, in talking to businesses, they're encouraged and very hopeful as opposed to the way things have gone over the past 12 months or so. But right now, people are hopeful, and we're starting to see, businesses expecting to get back on track. And I think the overriding theme is that hopefully by fall or at the very latest by the end of the year, we're going to start seeing things from an economic standpoint. Businesses are going to start feeling where they were or where they should have been prior to the pandemic last year.
Well, if I'd asked you that question,
good.
Yeah, if I'd asked you that question 6 months ago, you would have said they're at a standstill. Maybe 3 months ago, you'd have said they're taking baby steps. Now you just use the word strides. So evidently, we're taking bigger steps now, and that's a good deal.
Yes, we're not talking anymore about shutdowns or we're talking about how we can ease restrictions and how we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for less restrictions and more people being able to go into stores. And the biggest thing, too, Todd, is people are feeling a little bit more confident. There are vaccines out there. Businesses have been following the guidelines, so people are feeling safe and confident. And once that spreads, we're going to start seeing things blow up in a big way, I think, from an economic standpoint.
Terrific stuff. Mark Hilliard, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Good to talk to you.
Have a great week.
Talk to you.
Have a great week.